In a world where thunder doesn't just roll across the sky but shakes the ground beneath your feet, where shadows aren't cast by clouds but by wings spanning 40 feet, where humans aren't the apex predator, we find ourselves asking one question. How would we survive? Imagine waking each morning to the distant bellow of brachiosaurus herds. Your wooden shelter, reinforced with scavenged steel, sits nestled against a cliff face, invisible to the roaming Allosaurus that hunts in the valley below. This isn't fantasy. This is humanity's greatest test. The dinosaurs ruled Earth for 165 million years. We've barely managed 300,000. In this twisted timeline, where extinction never came for these ancient beasts, our intelligence faces their raw evolutionary perfection. Every human innovation, every tool, every weapon, every strategy becomes the difference between life and death. A T-Rex can crush bones with 12,800 pounds of force. Our strongest bite, a mere 162 pounds. Their sense of smell can detect blood from miles away. Their vision tracks movement with predatory precision. And yet, against these living mountains of muscle and teeth, we would adapt. We always have. Picture tribal settlements built in places dinosaurs can't reach. High cliffs, dense forests, island archipelagos. Human ingenuity creating complex traps to bring down beasts 100 times our weight. Communication networks warning of approaching danger through drumbeats and smoke signals. This isn't just survival, it's the forging of a new kind of humanity. The first hunters would learn quickly which dinosaurs to avoid and which might be taken down. Smaller species, Compsognathus, Dallamimus, Dryosaurus, would become our primary food source. We develop specialized weapons, ballistas capable of penetrating thick dinosaur hide, poison-tipped spears designed to bring down creatures too massive to kill with strength alone. But we wouldn't just hunt them, we'd study them, learn from them, and inevitably, we'd try to tame them. Imagine juvenile herbivores, Triceratops, Parasaurolophus, Ankylosaurus, raised from hatchlings by human handlers. These living tanks would become our greatest allies, offering protection, transportation, and raw power that no horse or elephant could match. A domesticated Triceratops could plow fields that would take 20 oxen. A trained Parasaurolophus could warn of predators miles before human sentries spotted them. But this harmony wouldn't come easily. For every successful domestication, countless human lives would be lost. For every defensive wall that held, another would fall. The human population would remain small, concentrated, adaptable. Our reproductive strategy, few offspring with long childhoods, would prove both weakness and strength in this savage Eden. Night would bring new terrors. Many dinosaur species hunted in darkness. Their senses evolved for nocturnal predation. Human settlements would burn fires continuously, creating light barriers against creatures that fear flame. Sleep would come in shifts, with constant vigilance the price of survival. Yet within these constraints, culture would flourish. Cave paintings would depict not just mammoth hunts, but epic battles against Spinosaurus. Creation myths would speak of gods with scales and teeth. Shamans would wear ceremonial garb made from feathered raptor skin. Children would learn to identify 50 dinosaur species before they learned to speak. Each region would develop unique survival strategies. Coastal communities might become partially aquatic, building floating villages safe from land predators. Mountain dwellers would perfect cliff face architecture inaccessible to all but the smallest dinosaurs. Desert tribes would learn to trap and channel the few herbivores that could survive such harsh conditions. Disease would create unexpected alliances. Parasites that evolved to prey on reptilian blood might find humans equally suitable hosts. Our immune systems, entirely unprepared for prehistoric pathogens, would falter repeatedly before adaptation. Medicine would develop not just to heal human wounds, but to treat dinosaur ailments, as keeping our domesticated protectors healthy becomes paramount to survival. Technology would advance along unexpected paths. Rather than progressing through bronze, iron, and steel, we might leap directly to complex composite materials. Bone reinforced with plant fiber, volcanic glass fused with animal sinew, materials light enough to carry, yet strong enough to pierce dinosaur hide. the psychology of our species would transform. Living constantly under threat from creatures out of nightmare would create humans with heightened awareness, quicker reflexes, and deeper bonds to their protective tribes. Fear would become not an occasional response, but a constant companion, reshaping our very brains. Yet through it all, our greatest strength would remain unchanged: our ability to communicate, to share knowledge across generations, to learn from every triumph and disaster. While a velociraptor might be smarter than any individual human, it could never match the collective intelligence of human society. As the first century of human-dinosaur coexistence ends, we find not extinction, but adaptation, not conquest, but coevolution. Humanity stands not as masters of this shared world, but as clever survivors, carving out existence in the shadows of giants. Dawn breaks over a changed landscape, 300 years into our coexistence with dinosaurs. Human settlements have evolved beyond mere survival. Fortress cities rise from strategic locations, built where geographical features naturally deter the largest predators. Walls 40 feet high, constructed from massive dinosaur bones and reinforced with ironwood, surround communities of thousands. The early terror has given way to calculated risk. Humans no longer flee at every dinosaur sighting. Instead, specialized scouts categorize threats. Red scale alerts for apex predators that require immediate evacuation. Amber scale for potential dangers that can be driven away with sufficient force. Green scale for herbivore herds that might be hunted or herded. Trade networks connect distant human outposts. Caravans, protected by trained ankylosaurus, their armored bodies and club tails repelling even determined predators. Transport goods along established safe routes. These living tanks, bred selectively for docility and protective instinct, have become the cornerstone of human commerce. But perhaps our greatest achievement isn't defensive, but agricultural. The massive herbivores reshape ecosystems wherever they feed, clearing forests, dispersing seeds, fertilizing soil with droppings the size of small cars. Humans have learned to channel this destructive potential into controlled environmental management. Barasso-Rolafo herds, directed by skilled handlers using tonal commands that mimic their own crest-amplified calls, clear land for planting. Their constant movement prevents any single area from being stripped bare. Behind them come human planters, sowing fast-growing crops in soil enriched by dinosaur waste. This partnership yields harvests impossible through human labor alone. Specialized professions have emerged that would seem alien to our timeline. Nest raiders, experts in identifying and stealing eggs from less dangerous species. Scent masters, humans who have perfected the art of chemical camouflage, using dinosaur musk to mask human odor. Sky watchers, whose sole purpose is monitoring pterosaur migration patterns to predict when the great aerial hunts will pass overhead. Weapons technology has advanced beyond simple spears and arrows. Ballistic launchers using counterweights can hurl poisoned projectiles capable of bringing down medium-sized theropods. Netcraft, complex woven traps that entangle even the strongest limbs, allows capture rather than killing, important for species domestication. Sound weapons, generating frequencies that disorient reptilian inner ears, create opportunities for escape or attack. Medicine has become sophisticated out of necessity. Antivenoms derive from studying smaller venomous dinosaur species. Surgical techniques developed specifically for closing wounds from serrated teeth. Bone-setting methods that account for the massive crushing injuries only dinosaur encounters can inflict. The human body, through selective pressure, has even begun changing. Denser bones, faster reflexes, enhanced peripheral vision. Children born into this world know nothing of our peaceful timeline. From earliest consciousness, they learn survival before language. By age 5, they can identify 30 predator species by footprint alone. Their games involve not just hiding and seeking, but advanced stealth techniques that will someday save their lives. Their lullabies contain embedded instructions for emergency response. The psychological impact runs deeper than fear. Humans have developed a complex religious relationship with these ancient beasts. Some communities worship the largest sauropods as living gods, leaving offerings before their migratory pass. Others practice ritualistic hunting of dangerous predators, believing the consumption of apex flesh transfers primal power. Across all societies, dinosaur imagery dominates art, architecture, and personal adornment. Resource management has become our most crucial skill. Unlike dinosaurs, who evolved in a world of abundance, humans understand scarcity. We harvest without depleting, preserve food through seasons, and maintain seed banks against disaster. While a Tyrannosaurus consumes without thought for tomorrow, human communities plan years ahead, this foresight becoming our competitive advantage. Communication networks have expanded beyond anything possible in our dinosaur-free timeline. Necessity drove innovation. Warning systems, capable of alerting communities miles apart in minutes, not days. Massive drum networks transmit vibrations, recognizable as specific threats. Sunlight reflection arrays bounce coded messages across valleys too dangerous to traverse. Trained pterosaurs, the smallest species carefully raised from hatchlings, carry urgent messages between distant settlements. Yet for all our adaptations, humans remain vulnerable. A single Giganotosaurus can destroy months of work in minutes. Defensive failures are catastrophic, not incremental. The margin between thriving and extinction remains razor-thin, demanding constant vigilance. As we approach the millennium mark of coexistence, the relationship begins shifting subtly. Dinosaur populations encounter their first significant pressure from human hunting and habitat modification. Certain species, those most dangerous or valuable, face localized extinction. Others adapt, becoming more nocturnal, more cautious around human settlements, more discriminating in their hunting patterns. Evolution accelerates under such intense selection pressure. Those that prey specifically on humans are hunted to extinction. Those indifferent to us continue largely unchanged. For the first time, humans begin exerting evolutionary pressure on creatures that dominated Earth unopposed for millions of years. A millennium has passed since humans and dinosaurs began their uneasy coexistence. What emerges now is neither dominance nor submission, but something far more profound. Evolutionary partnership. The landscape bears witness to this transformation. Human cities now incorporate living dinosaur elements. Brachiosaurus, trained from hatching to serve as living towers, their massive bodies supporting platforms and buildings hundreds of feet above ground level. Their natural longevity, some individuals living over a century, means these biological skyscrapers grow more valuable with age. Technology has advanced along paths unimaginable in our timeline. Rather than fossil fuels, human engineers harness dinosaur metabolic output directly. Massive herbivores, whose digestive systems generate enormous heat and methane, power thermal generators. The waste products of sauropod herds fuel biological reactors, producing everything from fertilizer to building materials. Transportation networks span continents, using domesticated hadrosaurs for land journeys and trained pterosaurs for critical airborne missions. The concept of roads has evolved differently, not paved pathways, but carefully maintained corridors for managed territories, marked with scent barriers that deter wild predators and guide domesticated dinosaurs. Selective breeding programs, operating across centuries, have created dinosaur lineages that exist nowhere in the fossil record. Smaller, more docile Triceratops variants, bred specifically for urban protection. Compsognathus, developed for enhanced intelligence, capable of complex task completion. Ankylosers with specialized armor configurations designed to complement human defensive strategies. Human biology hasn't remained static either. After 1,000 years of intense selection pressure, we've evolved heightened senses, particularly hearing and peripheral vision. Our stress response systems have recalibrated for life among apex predators. Our circadian rhythms have shifted, creating populations equally comfortable in nocturnal operation. Some isolated communities show early signs of skeletal adaptations, denser bones, reinforced joints, modified muscle attachment points. Language itself has transformed, incorporating sounds impossible in our timeline. Clicks, rumbles, and tonal variations borrowed from dinosaur communication. Common vocabulary includes hundreds of terms describing dinosaur behaviors with no English equivalent. Concepts like herd mind, scale threat, and thunder running convey complex dinosaur phenomena instantly recognizable to any human of this world. The arts reflect this merged reality. Music incorporates subsonic frequencies that dinosaurs respond to, creating performances experienced simultaneously by both species. Architecture emphasizes height and security while showcasing dinosaur motifs not as decorations, but as functional elements. Literature explores themes unimaginable to us: what it means to domesticate creatures more ancient than our species, ethical questions about directing dinosaur evolution, philosophical examination of humanity's place in a world we didn't originally dominate. Ecological management has become humanity's great contribution. Unlike dinosaurs, who shaped environments through unplanned consumption, humans direct ecosystem development intentionally. Controlled burns prevent undergrowth from becoming impenetrable. Selective herd movement prevents overgrazing. Water management systems redirect rainfall to support both human agriculture and wild dinosaur habitats. Military science has evolved beyond recognition. Human conflicts incorporate dinosaur assets not just as weapons, but as strategic elements. Trained Utahraptors serve as elite shock troops. Massive herbivores function as mobile fortresses. Pteranodon riders conduct aerial reconnaissance. The mechanics of warfare account for territories that must be surrendered temporarily during seasonal dinosaur migrations. The human concept of wildness has fundamentally changed. No area on Earth remains truly unexplored, but vast regions are designated as dinosaur preserves, not from conservation ethics as we understand them, but from pragmatic recognition that healthy wild dinosaur populations regulate themselves in ways beneficial to the overall ecosystem. These regions remain accessible only to specialized human scouts and researchers. Knowledge transmission has become our most precious resource. Unlike our timeline, where information might be preserved indefinitely in stable forms, this world requires constant renewal of critical survival data. Every child receives not just formal education, but intensive practical training in dinosaur identification, behavioral prediction, and appropriate response strategies. The loss of this knowledge, even for a single generation, would be catastrophic. As we approach the end of our speculation, we find neither the human-dominated world of our reality, nor the dinosaur-ruled Earth of the distant past. Instead, we discover a complex interdependence. Two evolutionary branches separated by 65 million years, now growing together into something entirely new. Humans never conquered this world. Dinosaurs never surrendered it. Instead, the planet's two most successful terrestrial adaptations found equilibrium, each filling ecological niches the other could not occupy, each benefiting from the other's evolutionary strengths. Not peaceful coexistence, but sustainable coevolution. This shared world stands as testament to life's extraordinary adaptability, to humanity's ingenious persistence, to nature's endless capacity for unexpected symbiosis. In the end, survival wasn't about domination, but about finding our place within systems far older and more complex than ourselves. A lesson perhaps worth remembering in our dinosaur-free reality.